2017, the year of God's favor. Expect great things, attempt great things. Welcome, everyone. So we want to welcome at this time to share her testimony of the greatness of God in her life. We welcome Sister Abigail Ramcharan.
But before I get to that part, I'd like to share the background story that I'm sure that nobody or some of you all would have known about, but I'd like to share it nevertheless. For as long as I could remember, I was always a very anxious, nervous person. I would worry excessively over very insignificant things. And I am a perfectionist. So if things doesn't turn out the way that I wanted or expected, I would get very frustrated and very stressed. Some people would say, well, yeah, this is a good thing. But for me, it wasn't so. Last year, in the month of May, around that, the ending of May, beginning of June, I had exams in the beginning of June. And 2 weeks before my exams, I had hit rock bottom. I was so stressed over exams. I drove myself into depression and I started having panic attacks. I couldn't sleep, I wasn't eating, I was tired, it was just the lowest point in my life, and I never thought I would reach there. But because I was so stressed and I was always doubting myself and doubting the ability, and I convinced myself that I wasn't smart or I wasn't good enough, and I started believing the enemy, telling me that I wouldn't make it, and there are people ahead of you and they pass you and you win scholarship and thing and you can't do this, and I totally believed the lies of the enemy, and I was at the lowest point in my life. It was like I had everything I needed and I wanted. I had a home, I had my family, I had my friends, but for the life of me, I couldn't find joy and I couldn't find happiness within myself. I couldn't understand what was going on, but I knew that I just wanted to get out of the place that I was in. For a while, my prayer life was totally stagnant because I was so occupied and I was driving myself so hard to get up every morning and just do what I have to do and study. I wasn't making time to pray. Usually before, I usually have a routine. I would read my Bible and then start to pray, and I would commit my study time to God and say, Lord, this is for you. But I stopped doing that because I was in my head, I was just driving myself to just get it done. And it's not like I didn't feel the conviction of the Holy Spirit. I did feel it. Many times I would be doing something and I would hear his voice say, Abigail, stop and pray, and I would just kind of ignore it, which, don't do that, people. It's not good. So I remember the time that I was having the panic attacks and thing, well, Mommy was there, and she used to pray with me and thing, and she told me, if you wanted to get out of this place, that you had to fast and pray. People, I know these things, right? I know that these are things that I'm supposed to do, but I didn't know why, but that didn't come to my head. And so I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to tell God what is going on. I'm going to fast from 6 to 6, and then I'm break my fast in the evening. So I did that for about 2 days in a week, every week. So I think Thursday and Friday I used to do it and stuff like that. And I remember a time I was home alone, and I was just feeling so sad, and I was like, what was going on? What is going on with me, Abigail? And I started to quarrel with myself. I was like, you have everything you need. It have people on this earth, they'll have food and they'll have water, and for the life of you, you can't be happy. What's wrong with you, girl? So I was like, you know what? This is not working out. So I sat down, I went on my knees, and I was like, God, listen. This is not working out at all. And I don't know what's going on with me. I really, really don't understand what is going on. Why am I depressed? Why am I doubting myself? Why am I so insecure? Why is it that I am not confident? Where is the confident person that, I was so confident before in my ability to do stuff, and, where is that person? And I cried out to God, and I was like, I can't pray for myself, and I need you to pray for me. I need you to intercede on my behalf. You on the right hand of God, making intercession for those. And I just want you to, if I can't pray for myself, you know exactly what is going on. You pray for me, because there's something going on in the spiritual realm that I can't see, that you could see. So just take control. And I don't think there was a specific time that, oh, by the way, also with fasting, there was this spiritual warfare book that mommy has that she always be reading all the time. And I used to take that book and I used to pray, because I really don't know how to battle and have that warfare kind of prayers. You know how some people, they just go down and know what to say and all this kind of thing. I don't know how to do that, right? So it had the book, and I was like, okay, I'm going to use this book, and in the beginning, in the chapters, it have what you wanted to pray for. So I used to pray for the redemption of God. I'm redeemed from God, from anxiety. I'm redeemed from panic attacks. I'm redeemed. And I would keep on saying that while I was fasting and making time and, doing it right this time. And I don't think there was a specific time that I felt, the heavens open and, yeah, God deliver me. But I know that I was feeling enlightened and free. And I shared in the women's ministry when we had to testify that I don't know what was going on, but I know that I had things that I had to be scared about, and I was not scared. I was not anxious, I was not nervous, and I was not worrying, and I was starting to trust myself and be able to be confident in myself once again. And and also every morning I put myself into the habit of, when I wake up, I would turn on the radio on 98.1 and I would listen to Janelle. She's pray on a morning, and when she prays for people with panic attacks and anxiety. And every time that she said that, I would agree with her, and I would say, yes, Lord, yes. I'd be washing away, and the radio would be right there, and every time she said it, I'd be like, yes, Lord, yes. Even if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I would just agree with her. And even before I went to bed, sometimes I used to get problems sleeping, because I had so much things running through my head. I used to get a lot of problems sleeping. I would have my phone on YouTube, and I would listen to gospel music, and with that I would fall asleep. And then eventually it had a time where I didn't need, I was on sleeping tablets and things for a period of time. It had a time where I didn't need it again to sleep, and I was relaxed and stuff like that. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Sometimes when I am alone, sometimes I would hear in my head, you put your family through so much stress, and Abigail, you do this. And when it is I hear that in my head, I say, Satan, get out, stop it. And I never understood, you're going to church all the time, and you hear praying, and you're hearing fasting, and you're hearing giving your tithes, but you don't really, you know of it, but you don't really understand it until it is you have to put it to use. So I was forced to put it to use, and now I understand the principle behind Jeremiah 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. I understand the principle behind Philippians 4:6, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, and people, the peace of God is something very real, because I felt it, and it's very, very real, and it's, if you believe, you will understand, and you will be able to experience the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. And that's when I told you I couldn't understand why it was I was not worrying. It's the peace of God which surpasses all understanding. And I've also understood the meaning behind planting seeds and tithing. Now, I always give my tithes, but I give my tithes because that's something that we were instructed to do, and it's best practice. That's what you had to do, right? But when you give your tithes, you have to give your tithes, and when you give it with an assignment. Anoint it and say, this is what I wanted to achieve, Give it an assignment, give it a mission to accomplish, and it will come back to you. I'm telling you it will. And now that you all understand the whole backstory of what went on with me, now you can understand the greatness of God. So last year, both Pastor Mark and Pastor Joshua, they told us to write some requests that we wanted, and we would put it into the prayer basket. And I remember forgetting to write my prayer request, and I wrote it in the nursery. And when I was writing it, I was like, yeah, right. And one of the requests was to top a ACCA paper. So I'm an ACCA student, and this is a UK qualification for accountants, and that's what I'm doing right now, and I had put that on my on my list. And when I put it, I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. And I remember laughing to myself. I remember laughing and writing it. And I was like, yeah, well, it's worth a try. And I just put it in the basket, and that was it, right? And at the beginning of this year, we had another fast again, and Pastor Joshua made reference to all the unanswered prayer requests and everything that we prayed for before and things that we forgot about during the fast, during the course of the fast. And we fasted during the month of January. And I tried my best to do it right. Before, I used to fast and think, and yes, I did fast, and I'm not saying that I was not a good faster, but now I understood, and I totally understood the principle behind it and the importance behind it. And I tried to do it right. I tried to wake up and read my Bible, pray with the spiritual warfare book, that kind of thing, and do it right this time. And do it right and understanding it. That is what I mean. Because I did fast before, but there's a difference between doing it right and totally understanding it and having it and making it have meaning to you. So last Wednesday, I was on my phone, and I got an email, and the email said, congratulations. So me seeing this email, I'm like, okay, this is spam, because, you receive all kind of spam email telling you win $1 million and this kind of thing. So I was like, what is this? So I don't know how I managed to open the email. And the email said, congratulations, Abigail. You have topped the F9 financial management paper in the Caribbean. So I'm like, no, this is not real. So I'm like, no, this is not real. So the first thing I do is check the person who sent it, because, people are trying to be thieving out your head and saying they'll get your email and, trying to do all kind of thing, right? So I was like, when I checked the email, I was like, the sender is ACC and ICAT, the two ICAT is the accounting body for Trinidad, and ACC is the qualification I'm doing. So I was like, what? This is like crazy. But before I did that, the first thing that popped into my head was the request that I put on the paper. And that's something I had forgot about, and I don't know how it came back to my remembrance. And before I even did anything or called anybody or anything like that, I just stood and I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for turning the lowest point in my life, where I was depressed and anxious and nervous and getting panic attacks, into the biggest blessing ever. I could not imagine in my thoughts that I could accomplish something like this. I never believed in myself to think that I could do something like this. But I do not boast in Abigail Ramcharan. I boast in Christ and his ability to turn something sour into something sweet.